Hello, everybody. Welcome back to One Leeds. Welcome back to Connor, and we are here with another match preview. We've done too many of these this season. It's been crazy. The consistency has been key, and the consistency from you guys has also been absolutely fantastic. The support, the engagement, the interaction, the likes, all of it has been incredible recently, and I really do appreciate it. So make sure you're doing all that good stuff on this video. Guys, I'd also like to say thank you, a huge, huge thank you to all of the Patreon members who have joined this week. We've had a fair few. Simon in the building, Chris, Carl, James, Rico, Joe, Adam, Dervish, and Gemma. Thank you so much. I think Mike has as well this week. I might shouted him out last week, but thank you so much. And obviously the original Patreon members for helping me out with some additional content. We've got a relegation run-in on there this week. We're also going to have the full Dominic Matteo podcast, which I'm really excited to release, and we're going to have some tactical insight video there as well, so it's well worth it. It's only £4.16 per month. What I'm going to be doing is trying to upload 2 to 3 videos per week on top of what everybody's getting here, so it is a grind, but I think it's well worth it. So sort of exclusive stuff, and if you want any bonus sort of Leeds United content, make sure you check out the link will be in the description below as well. Everybody, you know we are sponsored by the fantastic people at BETMATE, and they've been doing an absolute madness recently. We've had Leeds fans winning so much money for simply just joining and interacting with a fantasy league. So what I've done is I've gone to the guys at BETMATE and said, listen, I want the entry fee to be a lot less this week. And when I say a lot less, I mean from £4 to £2 or £5 to £2. It is £2 this week to enter, guys, to stick your fantasy football team in. And the payout is 75 quid. £2, 75 quid minimum payout spread across places. So the code is LEE-ASL. So LEE-ASL, as you can see at the bottom there. Get involved, and this is my team this week. I've gone with Ramsdale, Gabriel, Tomiyasu, which will become clearer in the preview as to why I've done that. Harrison is captain, believe it or not. Rafinha and Ketia, old Leeds player, and Martinelli. So if you think you can beat that, check BETMATE out. Link in the description below. Right, the formality's done, batted away, and we need to get into a preview, don't we? We need to discuss the Arsenal game. Guys, as I've just said, if you want more tactical insight, if you want a little bit more, there is going to be a bonus episode on the Arsenal game on the Patreon. But key battles across the pitch. I think out wide is going to be key. Arsenal are going to try and make the pitch as big as possible. They're going to try and play wide in sort of that 4-2-3-1 formation. Odegaard, that free roaming role. And it's how Leeds deal with that. I didn't think we dealt with it well at all at Ellen Road. Arsenal pressed us really high. We weren't able to even just spread the ball out wide in the Bielsa system and really gain in wide spaces. They sort of clustered on Leeds out left and out right, and we really struggled to gain a real momentum in the game at any point. Cody Drame really struggled against Martinelli. Listen, there was a lot of quality from Arsenal in that game as well, and they show why they are a top 4 side. So Leeds going up against this Arsenal side, it's going to be a difficult task. It really is. Gabriel Martinelli is probably going to start on that left, and I've earmarked him and Luke Ayling's battle is absolutely key in this game. Obviously, Stuart Dallas injured in the last game. My thoughts are out with Stuart. You know, it looks like it's either going to be an ACL or an MCL. I'm hoping it's not going to be a year out, but it's going to be a massive period of time out for Stuart Dallas, so other people need to rise to the occasion. I think Stuart, I don't think it's been his best season, but the amount that lad has risen to the occasion has been a joke, and I think sometimes he has compensated for other people as well. You know, we've had some of our big players out injured. Stu's been playing on an injury, which really talks about the character of that individual. We need everybody out there now, you know, even if you've got a little bit of a niggle. I think the 3-4-3 worked. The 3-4-3, I thought, against Manchester City on a results base obviously didn't work, but in terms of the structure of the side, I liked it. I liked what I saw. I liked the 3 centre-backs. I liked the sort of wing-backs, and what I think is going to hurt Arsenal, what's going to stifle Arsenal, is a team playing in a low block. We've seen it this season. I'm going to get onto some results that they faced with teams in and around us in just a little bit, but that is how Leeds United can stifle this side. We've seen it when we've gone up against Arsenal before. With our lower calibre of players, our lower quality players, going man for man, going open against Arsenal is a recipe for disaster. It gets their young, expansive players on the ball, and it enables them to get into pockets of space that they wouldn't be able to get into those spaces against teams who are sort of packing out that midfield block and that defensive block. Now, what are Leeds United going to do? Well, they are going to make it difficult for a team to play through the middle of us. Leeds now play vertically, we now play centrally, so we're going to fill out that space, which is going to be very, very advantageous when blocking out players like Martin Odegaard, who against Leeds in the past has caused absolute criminal damage. I will say that, absolute criminal damage. But I do think if they are able to get the ball out wide, if they are able to funnel the ball out wide, I think Martinelli's pace could be a little bit of a problem for Luke Ayling. Eddie Nketiah had a really good game against West Ham United. It looks like Eddie has become the focal point ahead of Alexander Lacazette, because Lacazette wasn't pulling up any trees, and he hasn't pulled up any trees this season. So Eddie Nketiah has been that guy who's sort of replaced Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, obviously, who's gone out to Barcelona. So Eddie's done okay. He's done all right. I don't think it's going to be a long-term option for Arsenal, but I think he's a good sort of stopgap now for the summer window. Do I think his pace could cause Leeds problems? Maybe the kiss of death for this one, but I really don't think so. I think Leeds will be able to handle him, and it's going to be interesting to see how Leeds set up. I'm doing this preview before the press conference because I don't think we're going to hear anything new. If Bamford is back, fantastic, but I don't think he's going to be back. I think it's going to be for the last 2 or 3 games. I think Arsenal might be a little bit too soon as to what Jesse Marsch was saying last week. So I think we're sort of all aware of the team news really there. But I think the pace element of it is something that Arsenal will be relying on, playing that ball over the top. But I don't think you've seen a lot of that against Leeds United. The ball over the top under Jesse Marsch, it has been when teams have been playing out wide. That's been what has hurt Leeds United, obviously, with our narrow structure. But, if you're packing out that back line and you're turning into a 3-4-3, that becomes a little bit more difficult for sides, as we experienced against Brighton last season under Marcelo Bielsa, when they would continuously revert to the 3-4-3 system. Then you saw West Ham reverting to the 3-4-3 system because Leeds United, when we were expansive, when we were playing out wide, we were able to get loads of joy against sort of teams who play in a different style. But that 3-4-3 seemed to really, really hinder teams. And because Jesse Marsch has played in that way against Manchester City and got elements of joy, it's going to be interesting to see Leeds coming up against a worse Arsenal side in comparison to Manchester City with a similar formation. But guys, the number one thing is chances. Leeds United we have to start scoring goals. And a lot of people might turn around and say, Connor, we scored 3 against Watford. Watford are absolutely turgid. It was 2 very good goals, Jack Harrison and Rafinha. The other one was an absolute gift. And aside from that, Leeds United have failed to score in 5 of their last 8 games, which is a huge, huge problem at this stage of the season, which needs to be rectified. So if you're going down to the Emirates and you're struggling to score goals, best believe if we're going to be picking something up from the Emirates, you just can't concede any. That we've got to start being tighter at the back. We've got to start being better against the teams in and around the top of the table with our 2 games coming up. And Leeds have to stand up and be counted. It's no good looking at favours anymore. Everton aren't doing us any favours. Burnley aren't doing us any favours. Teams around us aren't doing any favours in terms of picking points off those 2. Leeds United have got to look out for Leeds United's health. So we've got to go. We've got to stand up and we've got to be counted to keep this team in the Premier League. As I've just illustrated before, the banks are going to be key. Leeds' defensive structure is going to be key. Discipline is key. Junior Firpo, I'm looking at you, my friend. Discipline in this game is absolutely key. If Leeds United get to a point of 45, 50, 60 minutes and Arsenal haven't scored and they're struggling to curate a lot of chances, bearing in mind Man City only managed 5 shots on target against us, which just shows how ruthless and clinical they are. Arsenal are going to start to panic because the pressure is on Arsenal as well. They've not got an Aubameyang to bail them out up top. They've not got a Lacazette to bail them out up top as well. Obviously, he's been struggling for form. It is quite solely reliant on Eddie Nketiah at the minute. So the pressure is on Arsenal as well. Bearing in mind their North London rivals, Tottenham, are also playing Liverpool that weekend. If they're able to get a good victory against Liverpool, the onus is on Arsenal to go and get the victory. Very, very similar to if Everton and Burnley to pick up results, the onus is on Leeds to get a victory. So the pressure is very much on those guys as well. So if we stifle them through the middle, if we stifle them in terms of Arsenal being able to get any progressive attacks going forward and shots on target, it's going to be great. But we have to avoid errors. We have to be concentrating. We have to maintain focus because Leeds United are showing championship mentality when it comes to those sort of specifics. We have to be better when it comes to keeping a strong mindset throughout the game, when it comes to picking up your man, when it comes to being good on set pieces, when it comes to winning your own individual battles. Where I think Leeds can get a little bit of joy, Tavares, I think he's bang average on the left-hand side, left back for Arsenal. Obviously, with Kieran Tierney being out for this game, that is huge for Leeds. He's had a couple of good games against us. I think Rafinha could really expose Tavares. But everybody, we need to start aiding Rafinha. You know, there's people talking about his drop-off. We need to be buzzing in and around Rafinha. We need to be getting a lot of quality in and around this guy because he can't do it all himself. I was looking at a game when Leeds were playing Crystal Palace. Rafinha was up against Joel Ward, and we barely played down that side. You've got an old right back who's playing left back in Joel Ward, and you've got a Brazilian superstar who's going to be challenging for titles next year and playing in the Champions League. And we're not exposing him against him at all. At all. It's criminal. We have to expose Rafinha and Jesse Marsch. If that does mean on some occasions Leeds have to go wide, we're going to have to go wide. We're going to have to do it because Leeds' his best style of play is when we are playing as expansively as possible, and that's been the whole issue, hasn't it? It's the differences in styles between the two managers we've had this season. But you know, you simply can't just be relying on Rafinha to come central. And Jesse Marsch's whole rhetoric of, well, the goal is central, so you know you have to move forward to get the goal. We need to manipulate space as well, Jesse. We have to do that as a side. If we don't manipulate space and create space, chances with those spaces, then what else are we going to do? Because the opposition are just going to pack the central space as well, aren't they? And then there's going to be no route to goal. So yeah, Rafinha is key in this game as well, going up against Tavares. I think that is a key battle. But we need to get players in and around the box. Rafinha can only do so much. He can't kick the ball in the net every single time. We need to get a Joe Gelhardt. We need to get a Dan James. We need to get a Jack Harrison actually being clinical in the final third. I'm sick of seeing Jack Cork scoring goals. I'm sick of seeing Josh Brownhill scoring goals. I'm sick of seeing Nathan Collins scoring goals. I'm sick of seeing all these players for Burnley, 6 different scorers in their last 7 games. We need to start seeing Matthias click on the score sheet. I want to start seeing different scorers from different parts of the pitch for Leeds United. I'm sick of the onus being on Rafinha, and to be fair, to an extent, Jack Harrison, which is a big problem in itself because he's so inconsistent. There is too much onus on one man. Other players have to step up now. Step up and be counted. Leeds have 4 games left. Otherwise, there is a big potential Leeds United sink into the abyss, and who knows when we're going to be coming back. This is how real it's getting right now. It is real. It's seriously real. We do not want to be sucked back down there. It will be horrendous for the club's health. We can't have that, and the fans' health. As I've said before, what has Arteta done? He's pressed Bielsa sides continuously. Why? Because even in the Bielsa system, when top quality sides pressed us, we couldn't deal with it. That was the problem with Marcelo Bielsa. He wasn't pragmatic. He wouldn't adapt his system. He wouldn't adapt his values going up against Mikel Arteta. I do feel that hopefully you will see a 3-4-3 system, which is deviating away from Jesse Marsch's standardized 4-2-2-2, which is pragmatism. He's doing that against the bigger sides, which is an advantage for me for having Jesse Marsch in this sort of game. No Ben White, no Kieran Tierney, no Aubameyang, no Thomas Partey. All big points for Leeds. They're obviously Aubameyang, has left, but they are 4 big players in this fixture. You know, Ben White seems to do really well against us before. It'd be nice to shut Aaron Ramsdale's stupid face up for once. He seems to get a kick out of playing Leeds and any northern team at the minute. It's a bit strange. But listen, the teams in and around us have got results against Arsenal, and I'm not having it's Arsenal. I'm not having it's this. I'm not having it's that. They're a top 4 side. Let me just take a sip of water. Burnley have gone to the Emirates and got a 0-0 draw this season. Burnley have picked up 6 points against the top 4 sides. Burnley don't have a massive caliber difference in terms of quality over Leeds. There isn't a huge gulf there. There isn't. Burnley are an average side, supported by Nick Pope, as KG always goes on about, who is that world-class outfit in net. They are not a top team, but they're able to grind results like that out. They only lost 1-0 at home to Arsenal and were quite unlucky. Everton have beaten Arsenal this year. Yeah, Norwich have even gone to the Emirates and narrowly lost 1-0. I can't see Leeds coming away from this game. I can't see us getting hammered. We have to step up. We have to step up and get something in this game. If Leeds get something, that is going to be an injection of confidence. You know, that is going to be absolutely huge for Leeds United. The pressure is also on Arsenal. As you guys, my score prediction is on the debrief. I'm nervous for this one, but it's a chance. It's an opportunity. It's a blank canvas. We've got a blank canvas of 4 games. Last season, we won 4 games on the bounce. Got to change it round, everybody. The fortunes have got to change. Or Leeds are going to be applying the trade in the Championship next season. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please like the video. Get over to the Patreon if you want to see some bonus action with a special guest tonight, the Don Matteo podcast over the weekend, and some more bits and bats on the Patreon. Thank you for supporting the channel. As always, check BetMate out. And